Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone's welcome. Welcome here at Spartan Trading Service. It is, and welcome to those of you who are joining us through our live YouTube stream that we do every Wednesday, as long as the market's open. So those can see what we do. This is what we do every single day. Warm welcome. Let's get started. Obviously, we have, look, there's a lot of extensions, right? I mean, but Keynesian Rule 101, don't pick tops in a bull market. You will go bankrupt. That's it. Simple. That's Keynesian Rule 101. Number two, don't pick tops in a bull market. So I have to tell you a little story, but let's get to the macro side of this. It's kind of funny from the planetary dude. So anyways, overnight, what happened? We have PPI obviously today, right? We got PPI. it should be benign. I think it's next month that we'll get a little bit of a tricky thing. Yesterday, as expected, a little bit higher here, but for the most part, spot on, right? Well done. All right, Japan, manufacturing better than expected. All industry a little bit less than expected, but still, I mean, 13.5%, seriously. Manufacturing outlook a little bit softer, non-manufacturing. So, I mean, look, we continue to see this on the service side, right? It's just where we are in this business cycle, right? And I don't think that changes, right? Due to efficiencies and et cetera, right? Outlook is less, better, non-manufacturing, small manufacturers, positive versus negative, that's notable, right? And then our GDP negative, ta-da, well done. It's surprising that, you know, it took this long, but sometimes that's I'm on the scale, right? 3-month average, 0%. I guess that's a win, right? Industrial production, everything's, you can see this, manufacturing, just not a good look out of the UK, right? China, new won loans below what they want, money supply below. And this was a gilt auction. This is still remarkable with the economy as soft it is how strong this number is, right? You would think it'd be a lot lower by now, but anyways. Mortgage backs, once again, I really, great applications. So we know that a large percentage actually own. So that's disposable income, right? Where are they going to put that disposable income? If you own and you don't have to pay debt service, right? And Twins mentioned this, and I've mentioned this as well. I mean, look, this whole construct that so many espoused, okay, top down, that people don't have disposable income. Well, if you own your house, and it's a huge amount owns their house now, you have disposable income. How you use that income, you know, I don't know, stocks, buying stuff. I don't know. I'm just saying. PPI, let's see what happens here. Positive versus the negative. You know, like I said, all these things, there's no doubt today. Data dependent. You'll hear that all the time. Well, positive, and then, oh, we're watching, and we're, you know, being patient, and yada yada. Irregardless, today is the dot plot day. We have quad witching this week, OPEX, and we have dot plot. Those are the dot plot's the only thing you have to worry about or be concerned about. Okay, and I'm going to tell you right now, they will not reflect what the market is reflecting in terms of 6 months in the June to end of the month, end of the year next year. I'm telling you right now. So if anybody really thinks, okay, that that's going to happen, okay, then we're going to get a little bit of a sell-off. I mean, I'm just saying. I mean, great dip by Twins on the element. Like I say, I did as well. I mean, how could you not? Just saying. If his bio guy sees that, then I see that, right? Anyways. We'll see. We had yesterday, I don't know if you saw this, a bigger draw than expected, and that's probably the SPO, right? Just saying. I mean, you announced you're doing the SPO, buying. I mean, that would be the drawdown, right? If you're buying. Yeah, we'll see how it goes. For a second, this is you know, the dot plot. Okay, so that comes out. Keep a look at it. This is what they're expecting, right? We'll see how it plays out. This is the 2% narrative. This is fool's gold. And then we take a walk on the wild side with Jay Powell. Can he be a Goldilocks kind of dude? I don't know if he has it in him. He scowls all the time. No, it's just like serious. This is really unusual, friends. Look at this. Everybody, ABM, OEVG, PLAB, all these, all green. When was the last time we saw something like this? I'm just saying, right? That quad C is up nicely. This one I have on a swing. I told you, you can't do that. Anyone who does an adjusted option needs their head examined. Adjusted means there was a split. Okay, that's what it means. We really split. Okay. Anyways, Tesla, autopilot, moments before the tractor trailer crash. So now, guess what? We call. Rise with Fed rates shifting. Tesla, yeah, Model 3 variants to lose. Oh, they are going to lose. Okay, all right, there you go. While gas prices going down as the U.S. reaches lowest level in 2023. God bless. Okay. All right. This is disgraceful. That's all I have to say. 17 years to build 49 housing units, affordable houses, because someone challenged it, and it took 17 years going through the court system. Only in America. That's all I have to say. Only in America. Yeah, whatever. You know what? Actions and deeds. We call more than 2 million vehicles. Seen as all-American success story. Bill Ackman's ruthless quest to oust college presidents. Look, he's an activist. He's a Jewish activist. For any of you who know our generation, and Ackman is a part of my generation, okay, this is inexcusable and intolerable, because the youth today, they did anyways, I'm not going to get it. The last action across the markets, Israel begins pumping seawater. Apple adds security to protect users from iPhone thefts. Okay. Projection. Like I say, it's the dot plot, stupid. That's all it is. That's all I have to say. Like the economy, stupid, it's the dot plot. Okay, so we do have a timing cycle coming in, and it can be a little bit late, but this is a pretty spot on one since May. But the question's going to be, okay, if you notice here how shallow the pullbacks are, this was steepest, but in a bull market, you would expect maybe 3-4 days of a pullback, and that's it. This is what happened here. Now let me show you. See? 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And this obviously was, July, October, this one, right? Bounce. Anyways. So this is what you mean left translated and right translation, for those of you who are keeping track on the cycle side. That's what it means. ABGO. Okay, so this is similar to this. So let's say this was 8.15. It got all the way up to another, pierce the top here, $70, something like that. And then it consolidates. That's what's going to happen. That's what it looks like to me. This is why when I say all the time, it is not all or nothing. Always leave a little piece on off the extension. Dan Ives, cybersecurity and bull thesis for tech in 2024. God bless. Okay, so let's take a peek at the dude who actually runs the technical side. Okay, and he's basically, this is his crypto. He's looking for 52,500 by January. I don't know if he gets that, but God bless. Okay. Is disguising a larger positive message for tech and driven in part by AI chip shortages. Okay. Anyways, this is what it looks like. The good old days. Remember Bernanke? He knocked it out of the park every time he got on that mic. Greenspan, even the sourpuss. number 2, Yellen number 3, and Powell, Jay Powell. And it is true that he is a student of Paul Volcker. Okay. But for those of you who were around during the Volcker reign, and I was in markets, okay, we had double-digit inflation that was roaring. This is not the same. Jay Powell, you're listening. Dude, it's not the same. Okay? It's just not the same. Deal with it. MoveOn.org. Come on. Enrique? Oh, he's crowing again. Anyways, whatever. You know, these people. All right, SPY, Diamond. Isn't this remarkable with the Dow? How it just, isn't that remarkable? Dead, lost, hard, feathered, and look at how it clean. You're screaming by. Okay. And once again, I still think in terms of bang for your buck, I'm still going to say this is small cap, mid cap. I know, but it's still small cap, mid cap coming through. Lizzie, hourly earnings. We're at the mean, actually. So, like I say, we are at Goldilocks. Now, for those of you who think retail option buying intraday isn't meaningful, it was 12%. It's all the way up to 18%, almost 20%. This continues to grow. It just continues to grow. This is meaningful and important because I keep saying these. The volume that we see does not mean it converts to open interest. It means that retail is buying, selling, buying, selling, buying, selling. And we see more and more and more involvement as there's more and more successful. Linear moves lead to success. Just saying. All right, energy, South of Africa, energy security. This is what their top priorities are. Security, affordability, and then energy. Okay, clearly everybody is mainly concerned about security. Okay, this is what it looks like. Oh, Canada, Malaysia, United States, same thing. And as you can see here, right, being green, Turkey, I call bullshit, but anyways, you know, but you can see here it's all about security. Not NFIB, business activity, optimism. I mean, I don't know. Rent inflation, cities, large cities, small cities. It is small cities. You know that, don't you? All right, Argentina has devalued. Don't cry for me. This is the South American way. Don't cry for me, Argentina. That's what they do. Let's official peso slide to 800 per dollar. Ouch. What do we got? Pfizer, Palantir, Microsoft, Meta lawsuit from authors over alleged use of copyrighted books to train AI model. Interesting. That's actually a very fascinating lawsuit. I think it is, at least, right? Whatever. And among XPOF, this quadruple C, I've been in this one. I mean, how can you not with that contract? Come on. Apple expands self-service repair to include iPhone 15 line. Nice. Very nice. What happened yesterday? Apple, Tesla, SPY, some hedges came in. Ugh. Let's make sure it's up to date. $17.4 million. I shouted this out to you in the money. This is our back, quad witching, guys. This is paper replacement, whether you believe me or not. But that's what it looks like. Okay, so paper replacement is simply raising cash. Okay, when you're out of the money or even close to being in the money, that's paper replacement because you're choosing to use options instead of equity. That's what it means, paper replacement. Okay. Okay, Webb, I can't touch that. These, I can tell you right now, because we played it quite a number of times, they have been wrong statistically more than right. Because I've played it enough times to know, right? Pogo. So that's what it looks like. All right. Matador. I mean, it's only 480,000. I mean, seriously, you can't get too excited about that, can you? Instead of selling some tied options, Zoom, AI, public storage, and then you have these that are not director. You know, what's wrong with paying yourself? So why not? All right, upgrades, downgrades. The DHI, I love that trade actually, but it's Mocha performed, outperformed, but it's that valuation point, right? Mohawk, another one I really like. I missed it. Open door, interesting. Will from Keith. What? I only care about the studs and studettes, you know, that red. Green is my top goal. Pentair, right? And then you've got some other one. Roger, as always, thank you for what you post. INSEE, they were buying INSEE calls yesterday out of nowhere. Just saying. Just saying. Yeah. And you can see here, these downgrades, a lot of them are on valuation basis. There's only one, Church and Dwight, that actually has a negative price. I mean, seriously. This is not my generation of analysts out there, guys. Friends. I mean, the level of incompetence is just stunning. And the level of people following the incompetence is even more stunning. Waters, Danaher, I like Danaher, but peer perform, but no price, that means they're at valuation, right? And then you can see here, our little funds there at 5, 10, 12. It's a random walk theory, statistically. You have equal or better chance of beating them, especially in this room. You have a way better chance of beating them. Holy cow. Damn. That is my dog. The squirrel. If you heard that. And then always Roger posts the different ones on the that are not initiations. Okay. Upgrades, downgrades, but are maintains or reiterates or priced on the raises, stuff like that. Okay. Ta-da! FOMC, yada, yada, yada. This is all that matters. All that matters. See what they say. Where they're clustering now. This is just saying, the mid. Right? Fun and games. Right? All right, so what do we got? We still have, ta-da, Google, February. This trade's not over with funds. Got Comcast till February. Broadcom, winner, chicken dinner. It's not the end of the month yet, so I'm still in it. Still rolling to the end of the month. Newmont, like I say, platinum, yes. Palladium's tough. Silver, yes. Okay. So we'll see how that plays out. And this is a really interesting one. Okay, so we're here. So this is consolidative, possibly decline, but last time this happened, it pulled back, but it was not much. Right? New high, same thing. This is really fascinating. So when you look at it from a 3-year perspective, okay. But the SPY, right? Whoop. Interesting, right? Here we go with the IWM. This is just beginning, friends. Just saying. It happens. I don't know how it happens. And here you have something. Okay, so this is it. This is kind of cool. The most small cap time of the year approaches. Growth of $1 in small cap versus large cap from December 11th to February 11th. Don't shoot the messenger, okay? This is why, from a statistical point of view, this goes back to 1926. You wanna talk about seasonality? This is it. Whether you want to believe me or not, this is it in terms of risk-reward opportunity. $1 for these 2 months is worth 960, basically 40. You want to deal with it? Deal with it. I'm just being serious. Okay? So I'm just being serious. Now, this is the large cap where it favors him from February to December. Hello? Okay. I just get very passionate about this because it's really meaningful. So from February to December, you don't want to be in small caps. But if you switch it, like I say, I'll just say, isn't that beautiful? Stunningly beautiful? I think it is, but these are the things that make me excited in life, right? Here we go. Let's take a peek. So we got a little extension going on here. Pakistan, believe it or not, right? Europe still. Argentina, watch out. Chile, right? Australia. Moving averages, and you can see it's still, Pakistan, right? And then you see natty gas. So natty gas will get a bounce, within the next couple days. Whether that's meaningful or not, I don't know. So let me tell you a story. I keep telling you about my planetary dude. He's been shorting the market since November. Yesterday, he said, I got it wrong. He said, in 20 plus years, it should be pulling back, but it's not. And I got it wrong. But he's now willing to get out of his short position because he says when he does, that'll be the high. So it's like, okay. When you totally misread the narrative, and there are a lot of people out there. So it's when these people capitulate, and they haven't capitulated yet. And I don't know what the hell gets them to capitulate. Okay. I mean, he's been accumulating natty gas. This is why, with me, if you're going to make a bet on something, you always have a big bet on something. He's 6% short natty gas. Okay. You better have a spread against it. That's all I have to say. And that spread of ours did pretty damn good. And I told you I'm kind of trimming it a little bit because I think we do bounce, but I don't know the quality of that bounce right now. Okay. So we'll see. Anyways, I think it's fun. So, let's update it, make sure it's up to date. So we could have a pullback. Okay. I mean, we are getting a little bit red rosy, stuff like that across the board. And obviously CAC along. The DAX is obviously extended, right? But not in the 50 and above, but notably, obviously, the 200, except for the financials, industrials. And I am really in industrials, and that really has been a winner chicken dinner. I mean, infrastructure and industrials, financials, all kinds of, but small caps, the drill, right? All right, so here we are, Russell. Here we are. What could go wrong with this? So this is the 14th day of the month. Obviously, this coincides with FOMC, 14th day of the month. 14th day of the month. So if we rip today, we're definitely going to get a yank. And if we yank today, we're definitely going to get a pop. That's what it looks like. Just saying. Everything, all of them have this. And this is pretty robust. This is meaningfully statistically. Okay, I just shout it out loud. All right, we're going to do cyber securities today. Let's do it. What we got? Yield curve. Still inverting on the 10-year. You can see that, right? Rates are down across the board, yada, yada, yada. UK, come on. Anyways, so the narrative still is out there. What you choose to believe in terms of the economy going forward for 2024. If you're like myself and twins, you think the economy is just fine, and we've been pretty damn right about it since October of 2022. It's the economy, stupid. Even in an election year, it's the economy, stupid. Okay, just saying. All right, here's the 2-5 inversion. Like I say, this is the narrative right now. I don't think any of you are paying attention to it about this inversion. Okay. From peak to trough, this is a 63% move to the downside. Okay. Even though the rates are going down, it's the 10-year. The front end. I keep saying this, and everybody keeps saying they want to be in the front end. I get why? You can't be in the front end until this breaks. Pops go that way. Until that time, there's a top end of the range and the inversion comes in. And you're better off being in the 10-year than the front end of the curve. Let's take a look at even this. Now, this is interesting. This is holding right now, but this is the 3-month against the 10-year. So I'm keeping it real here. Whether you believe me or not, okay? This is 185% move from peak to where we are right now. I'm just saying, if you're in this spread, you got your pants pressed with them on you. Just saying. We don't care about that. I mean, nothing's going really on with that. And obviously, this is notable, right? We continue to come in. Next level squat, I actually think right now, well, we'll see what happens, but I actually think it gets below 2%. Okay, so that's why I'm bullish on these markets, because we're talking about quantitative easing here. This is a huge tailwind for a lot of these things. Dollar doing nothing. Chinese yuan, they can do whatever they want with it. Cryptos coming in a little bit. All right, gold up, silver down, crude up. All right, so what happens, guys? We're going to, it's 1 minute to CPI. So let's take a peek at that. PPI, I'm sorry. This does matter, okay? From a business point of view, right, in terms of productivity, I think producer prices, the cost of doing goods. If this is negative, whip city, right? Here we go. 2% better than expected, flat, better than expected. That's really positive, okay? That's positive for the market. Ex-food and energy, 0.1 as expected. Ex-food and energy year over year is a little bit below expectation, and year over year PPI 0.9. Very good, still great data for the Fed. Just saying. Just saying. All right? This is what we want to see. This is all this Goldilocks soft landing narrative, right? This is a great little tailwind for businesses because they pick up on that, right? Just saying. Twins is happy with that number. Yeah. Okay. Food, net of gas, aluminum, zinc, copper down, agribusiness, agricultural side. On the agricultural side, don't forget, the reason why we had strong tailwinds is because it's weather, and these guys are hedged. They hedge in September, October. So anyways, that's why you see these moves okay, on these different agricultural commodities, right? Petty gas bouncing a little bit here to 78.6% fib. I did buy a little bit of oil, but not a lot today. So I'm a little bit overweight, but minimally overweight. Boil against KOLD, but meaningfully flat. Okay, it doesn't move the meter. All right, let's take a look at this MLP. This is really fascinating because this is an extension on the monthly. Oop. See if that holds. OIH in the mid. XLE pulling down. USO, UNH. Okay, so let's talk about what Twin said, okay, about oil, okay? I'm always hedged, you know that. And my hedges are making more money than I'm losing on the oil side. So yes and no, but he can't do that. I sure as hell can, okay? Right? So this is why, yeah, but, and then I have less of a loss going on because of the divvies that's being paid out. So I actually have more of a gain because the divvies being paid out. But I'll buy my time. I'll take the hedges off. I have trailing stops on my hedges. If you're doing commodities, like I say, it's not all or nothing for me in anything I do. Okay? It's always a nuance. And I know how to do the nuances in life. Okay? Hold on a second. Well, oops, I thought I muted myself. Sorry about that. Sorry. Crude, right here. Whiskey waters to bounce. Gold crude. This looks like a little cup and handle coming in our way. His gold pull back. You know, like I say, this is what I want to see happen before I lift off all my hedges. Look, hedges are for a reason. Right? Let's take a look at lumber at the mid. This was a double shot. I shouted this out, lumber. That was a great trade. Uranium, just let it go. You know, we've been in uranium since down here. So wheat futures, keep an eye on this. Right? All right, what do we got? Stocks. Nah. I mean, I don't think we go anywhere today. Spud will find us stuff. But, you know, Spud always finds this stuff. But it's not in the indices. I think it's a tough trade in the indices right now. Right? So we'll see how it plays out. One second, guys. Sorry about that. Anyways, we'll see how it plays out. Let's go. Let's do it. DAX, breaking out. FTSE. Pez. You can see this. Pretty. EFA. Pretty. What is the Quita. Muy bien, muy bien. Tesla might, I don't know why this is here. I gotta take this off. So we're gonna look at the cyber securities. I actually am not in this one. I'm actually in, well, can anyone guess which one I'm in? I'm in the leveraged one. UCYB. And I'm in names. This is cyber, right? That's what it looks like, right? Looks like it's gonna break out. Do I have it up here? This is bug. Heck, these are the cyber ETFs, right? I like, I don't, like I say, you don't want to pick a top, but all these just look fantabulous, right? Let me see if I have the UCYB up here. No. Anyways, here's Fortinet. I did buy a little Fortinet just on value, and South Beach was mentioning it, that it was in one of the lanes that, I don't have a big position on this one, friends. Okay. I don't, for obvious reasons. Okay. This is, it's been 2 earnings misses for them. I'm not sure if now there is a divvy coming out with it, it looks like. I don't know what that is. I don't know what this is. I would think it's a D, but anyways. So we'll see. Zscaler, nothing. I've been in all of these. I've been in all of these since you can guess when, right? I bought this, right? Anyone guess when I bought this? I bought this in the double bottom dip. All of these names, a lot of these names. Zscaler. I mean, you know the drill. Anyways, so Zscaler, I'm in. ENB. This is interesting. I'm not in this one, but this is an interesting look to it. I have to think about this one. Not in that one. Snowflake, I get bought. But I mean, clearly it doesn't look as so good as some of these other ones, but these have opportunity, like Snowflake has it. Crowd. These are the ones, for me at least. Okay, and I keep saying this in terms of breadth, right? These are the ones that I'm putting my money to work in, and I've been doing it since October. I'd rather be in this as an outperformance versus some of these other more FANG type names. That's all I'm saying. AVGO, right? Just saying. And this is why I think it's okay to broaden your, look at this, snaps, SNPS, all these just look fantabulous. Okay, now let's look at the Qs. You know the drill. We're literally in this upper quadrant right here. Okay. Do I want to do this? Yeah, I do want to do this. Okay. So we're just creeping above the mid here. Obviously, you know the drill, right? All-time highs, right? I don't know how we get there, but look, this is the question. Whether just as a FOMO to the end of the year, irregardless, okay? Yeah, I mean, tech, you know that. I mean, TCL, I mean, all those things, irregardless. I still think in terms of putting my money to work would be like in these cyber names, would be like in, mid cap, small caps, and financial stuff like that. And I'm even thinking about maybe doing some XLP stuff. I don't know. I haven't decided yet. His Qs against defense. Interesting. Against XBI. Interesting. So this is what I'm telling about leadership. Okay. Against jets. Right. Question is, do we curl up in, I don't know, but I'm just saying my thought process has been correct. So we had this double top with October, right, into November. And this is where the money's been going. It's been coming out of the Qs and going into different sectors. I don't know how else I can show this to you pictorially. Okay. Whether you believe me or not, this is what it's going on. Right? Qs against Apple, Qs losing against Apple. This is breadth. Qs against Meta. Interesting, right? So Meta's been literally dead meat since right here, right? July against the Qs. Here's basically Qs against XOT retail. Interesting, right? You would not have thought this. Qs against XLY, once again, double top, October, November, basically happened. Okay, I'm just saying, okay? This is what it looks like. Whether you consider it to be targeted with the overseas foreign sovereign selling, probably, tax loss housing, probably, trimming. I keep talking about trimming exposure. If you're only allowed a 3 to 5% position, 3%, and it gets to 5%, statistically, you're going to be required to trim that before the end of the year. I'm just saying, very rarely with these guidelines, because this is in your bylaws, right? This is what it says. Okay. QQQ XLP. So I'm thinking maybe XLP next year. I don't know. Dow transports against the Qs. This one really fascinates me. Okay, and this is why I think the Dow can outperform in the coming months because of the transports. Okay, and I'm just slowly looking at this like T4 I'm in. Okay, but I got back in it. But I mean, this is why I think that potentially, okay, that could be consumer staples. It could be healthcare. It could be, you know, look at the top holdings. Okay, in the Dow, and here you see the transports. I think we bounce. Okay, I don't know yet. But I need before I can get to a size that I want to be in, I need a green candle. I don't have it yet. Okay. All right, here you see the Russell. I keep telling you about this. Basically, January, mid-January, on the timing cycle. This is a cycle. Tops, right? Right. So we'll see how it plays out.
Ready, Beth, ready to pop on here.
Okay.
All right, guys, how's it going? Let me just pop up the screen share, get right into it. So if you guys are new to chat, haven't already done so, make sure to click on that Discord link that's emailed to you. You're going to pop into chat. It's going to look something a little bit like this. First area to go to when you guys do come in, click on that disclaimer section and give that a read, as well as go to the new to chat information section, scroll to the very, very top. Top of that section, see a link to the disclaimer as well as this bolded risk reward section. Super important to understand both in regards to risk reward, guys, most important ratio in trading, so definitely worth checking out. I wouldn't do any sort of trading real money unless you have that built out for yourself. Continue to scroll down. You have the summary of how this chat works, breaks down breaks down all the channels work on the left hand side, so you can probably navigate the chat throughout the day. Continue to scroll down. We have the how to read alerts from the opposite and equity side, breaking down how to read alerts from both sides. Pretty straightforward in that regard. Below that, options rules that we use Monday to Thursday in regards to controlling risk, scaling in, scaling out, trading different price contracts, etc., etc. SPX rules that we use every single day right there. Continue to scroll down. We have anyone with a small account less than 10K breaking down. If you have a smaller account less than 10K, here's some rules, information, discipline you can put in place so you can better manage your account. How to pick ideas from an options directory perspective below that. And lastly, high conviction small account trades posted in that area when they do make sense. All right, let's take a look what we got going on today, guys. Pre-market tickers on watch. A couple things: Tesla, VRTX, NVIDIA, AMD, BNTX, and then STTK. So Tesla gapping down in continuation, NVIDIA gapping down in continuation, AMD gapping up in continuation, BNTX gapping down simply with mRNA, VRTX. Vertex non-opiate drug reduces chronic nerve pain in mid-stage study, gapping up on that. And then STTK announced initial top-line dose expansion data from its ongoing phase 1A. Data reported a 79% objective response rate, and you're getting a nice little gap up because of that. Let's take a look at these names from a technical standpoint intraday. First two we're looking at, guys, going to be that Tesla and VRTX. Let's have a gander. All right, so Tesla, a little bit of a gap down there. Let's take a look at that daily chart. Or let's look at the chart. Okay. All right, so 233.36 pivot to the downside today, unable to hold 229.17 to 226.44, able to hold 236.81 to this 240.34. Looks like, you know, still stuck within this consolidated range here. It is testing EMA support, 50 EMA, 13 EMA as well to the downside. We'll see if this level holds. If not, obviously it's got room to fade off a bit. VRTX, let's take a look at this. All right, so pivot to the upside today, 375.70, level holds 381.33 to 387.61. Unable to hold 367.36 to 362.44 downside, leaning bullish neutral if that pivot point is able to hold. That's Tesla. That is VRTX. All right, let's take a look at the next two guys. I'm just gonna quickly take a screenshot of these. Yes, I do. Okay, next two, my friends. NVIDIA, AMD. There we go. Thing kind of just popped away from here. Good. Still stuck in a little bit of a range here. Obviously slight pullback. Not really much though. I think it can potentially flag break to the upside today. 478.42 level holds. We get towards 484, 77 to 492.07. Unable to hold 468.06, 460.23 on the downside, leaning bullish. If we can get above that pivot point here at 478.20, 478.42, sorry, I should say. So leaning bullish neutral there. Let's take a look at AMD. So a little bit of a gap up. This thing's been on an absolute friggin' tear. This AMD. Super duper impressive, right? Let's get all these recent ranges. Just advice. All right, let's see what this thing today here. Like when you get your last day's closed labeled. 137.51 pivot level holds 139.90 to 143.14. Unable to hold 135, sorry, 45 to 131.16 downside leading bullish. Looking for a continuation push higher. After today, you're going to get extension to the upside. So, I mean, obviously we got FOMC this afternoon, so it may not even matter, but just from a technical standpoint, I am seeing that FYI. NVIDIA, AMD. Okay, let's take a look at the next two guys. We got BNTX and SDTK. Okay, so BNTX pivot to the downside today. Going to be that 94.56. This level's unable to hold. Room towards 92.85. Able to hold 96.77 to 98.53 upside. Leading bearish, looking for continuation lower on that. And last but not least, guys, let's take a look at this STTK. Uh, 417 level holds 476, 534, unable to hold 374 to 337 on the downside, and leading bullish control if that pivot point's able to hold as well. That's BNTX, that's STTK. All right. Next two, my friends, or next, not two, now the spine thing. All right, staying with the market, looks great. You know, I was saying yesterday, I think we get to 4,700 on the SPX this week. I know there's, you know, a bunch of news events and things like that. There's a bunch of shit going on, but like, obviously Fed's speaking today, but you know, regardless, the market looks so good. Technical standpoint, that's kind of what I'm seeing. 465, 54, sorry, 465, 45 pivot to the upside today. Level holds 466.91, 468.20. Unable to hold 464, 49 to 463.54 downside leading bullish on the SPY. Looking for continuation push higher today. Let's take a look at Apple. Apple looks okay too. Nice. Nice little flag break on the daily here, setting up. Pivot upside 196.12, level holds 197.45, unable to hold 194.81 to 193.09 downside leading bullish control. Looking for a continuation push higher. All right, let's go. Sorry, guys. All right, that's Apple. Let's take a look at Amazon. Amazon 148.60 pivot, level holds 149.71, unable to hold 147.21 to 145.84 downside leading bullish on this. Let's take a look at Netflix. $465.29 pivot, level hold, so you got room towards 470.22 to 474. 37, unable to hold 458.81 to 452.78 downside leaning bullish on Netflix as well. Looks like you can get a nice little push on the flag to the upside. It's actually a good looking chart, in my opinion. Let's take a look at Meta. Oh, Meta had a nice little move yesterday. Look at that. It's kind of getting back into this little range breakout spot too. Let's get that in with labels. All right, so 335.48 pivot to the upside today. Level hold 338.66 to 43.16. Unable to hold, we look for a pullback towards 330.62. If that level breaks, 336.13 downside. Leaning bullish neutral. Let's take a look at Google. At 133.03 pivot, unable to hold 131.46 to 130.04, able to hold 130.450 to 135.64, leaning bullish for there as well. All right, so that's SPY, that's a FANG. Those are the individual names that we're looking at today, guys. I'm gonna go pass it over to South Beach. We'll type the pre-market action plan up, and then we'll do a quick little recap for the open. South Beach, if you're ready. She's all yours for now, my friend.
Okay, good morning, guys. Hump day, Fed day. So when we have Fed day, we have really 2 days in one, right? We have the first part of the day, which we trade kind of normal, right? And we get down the smaller positions, and then we have the second part of the day, which will be influenced by the Fed, and more importantly, the Q&A and statement. Okay, so we'll see what happens with that. Let's just look at the technicals, which have been outstandingly bullish for a good amount of time now. All right, so since maybe beginning of November. And on the S&P, there's just no reason to get off the bandwagon. You know, are we overbought? My oscillator is at, let's see, where is she? Okay, the oscillator is at 16. So we're not even close. Okay, and the market looks fantastic. And it looks to me like they're going to close in on that 480 high on the S&P and going back to 21. And it looks fantastic, right? Then we look at the Qs. Kind of the same situation, guys. You know, you have a couple of gaps out there that might need filling one day. But right now, the market is technically super strong. And my guess is they go after that same high in 21 on the NASDAQ, which looks to be around 400-ish. Okay. Let's move to the Russell. And that one, you know, when they gap higher and kind of go sideways and then gap higher and go sideways, that's just a really bullish pattern. You got great EMA support on daily and weekly. And I think they'll get through this 190 level, and then they're, you know, I think 200 is pretty easy. We'll see what happens. I think that's a good setup as well. And last but not least, the transports, which look a little similar to the Russell. And that one too, great EMA support, consolidating at higher levels. You know, everything looks pretty bullish on the technical aspect. All right, so then we move into the bond market. So that's going to be the number one thing today, right? Of course. The long end of the curve coming down again today, the 10 years at 416. So the last time, more or less, that Powell spoke, we were up to what? We're in December, November. Yeah, right before, like mid-October, we were at 5%. Okay, now we're at 416. So almost a full percentage point lower, which is pretty remarkable in that period of time. The 2-year traded at 511. Now we're at 468. This part of the curve will be affected obviously less than the 10-year as you move out, because the Fed doesn't really control the long end of the curve, only really the short end, which we have the 1 year at 411, 6 months at 540, etc. And that's the story. So lower rates are much lower in UK today. Okay, that 10-year is now down 0.11 on the day. It hit 475. It's at 385. So on a percentage basis, it's even a bigger move than we've had. And the short end of the curve is above 5%, kind of sort of similar to ours. And what's our 210 spread? It's been 50 basis points the last few days, and it is currently 50 basis points again. And so rates are lower in Germany and Italy and France and all the other Eurozone countries. Okay, so we'll see what Powell says, and then we'll move on from there. Commodities, we have oil up a little bit today, but you know, look, the trend is clear. All right, trend is lower prices, and that's the situation. All right, and oil is, you know, acts like shit, and no surprise. My guess is, you know, these guys are still producing oil at cheaper prices and make a lot of money, so they'll reach a point where these things can't go down any further. I don't know where that's going to be, but we'll see. Okay, natural gas is at 230, so since it's gone through 3 on the downside, it's a straight down affair. Actually, it got to 3.5, and it's just been every day has been down. So natural gas, another thing. And we're going into winter, right? So what does that tell you? Okay. Gold is up a little bit this morning. These agricultural commodities are kind of sort of quiet, as they have been. Currency-wise, dollars mixed against North America, down against the yen. Pretty flat against Chinese currency at 717, and pretty flat against the euro and pound, 108 and 125 there. And crypto, which has been the big monster, Bitcoin's up 0.5%, Ethereum's up 0.25%, Solana's down a little bit, 0.5%. Foreign markets, what do we got? FTSE's up 0.3, DAX is dead flat. Nikkei, pretty flat there too, up 20.25%. China continues to get shit canned. It's down 1.5%. Hong Kong down 1%, and Taiwan is flat. Okay, so these Chinese stocks continue to get wrecked. And that's that's the backdrop. So we have the banks and Fed today. That's the big thing. We have 2 separate days. Now, the second, when he starts speaking, guys, keep your pants on. Don't do anything until we see the trend, and then we jump on it. But you can get a wiggle back and forth 3-4 times before the trend shows up. So, don't get whipped to death. Wait for the comments, wait for the trend, and kind of pick out stocks that you might want to buy if he talks about lower rates. Like I'm thinking Zillow for one, okay? Because if, that'll spur home buying. Think of things that are going to work if rates are lower, and think of things that would be, if he doesn't use those words and they start, moving rates higher on it, which I don't really foresee happening. But if they did, think of the stocks that have rallied on lower rates and go the other way, not too tough. So just, think about it before you act. You should have somewhat of a game plan. If this, then that. If this, then that, and be prepared. I mean, that's very important stuff. Okay. So we got the banks and Fed. We'll talk about that in a minute. China, Russia, nothing there. Crypto, we discussed. Mr. Market yesterday, you had, another nice rally in mostly what yesterday with FANG stocks had a pretty good day, if I recall. Let me just look it up, because I don't recall that well. Let's see. So we had FANG stocks were good. The cyber security names were good. Insurance was good on the short side. We had big oil and gas again. We had gold and silver. Retail was kind of soft. EV and solar were on the sell side of the ledger as well. Okay, so that was yesterday. What's working? Being long is working. Everything else pales in comparison. Okay, shorts are getting creamed, and those guys who are not committed to the market, funds of which are underinvested, are getting creamed, and especially those guys who thought that being in oil and gas was the answer to having good asset allocation, and they, that's their lion's share of the equity positions. They really got shit canned, and I would imagine, based on the way these things are trading, there's a whole lot of guys that fit that narrative. Okay, all right. So the big thing, of course, Powell. What's he going to say? We know he's not going to. He's probably. My guess is, my opinion, is that he says more or less we're finished raising. Now, does he discuss whether the Fed is discussing lowering rates? I don't know. If they do, we could have a real nice rally higher. I don't know if he's going to say that. I have absolutely no idea. Gut? Probably not. Why do I say that? Because he's a student of Volcker. I talked about it a little bit yesterday. And Volcker had to come in and right someone else's mistake because they took their foot off the brake too fast, and then inflation came back, and then it went to ridiculous levels. And I think since he's a student of Volcker, then I think he's going to err on the side of caution versus bravado. We'll see. We will see. It's just an opinion. Opinions are worth shit. Okay, my opinion is good until he comes out with a statement, and then I'll change my opinion unless it agrees with that. Okay, so that's the story with that. So what's he going to say? No change. When are we going to cut, et cetera, et cetera? All these things are balls in the air. Okay, and we'll see how it plays out. All right, mortgage refinance demand went up 19%. I don't know why they're refinancing so fast. Rates are going to go lower, but they are. It was a 19% increase in that, and mortgage demand was up only 4%. So there's not a lot of inventory. People are in at much lower rates, and I think inventory will stay tight for a while, which is probably a good thing for new home builders, which have been acting pretty well and which were pushed this morning on the research, which I'll talk about later. All right, that environmental meeting in the, where was it, Abu Dhabi or something like that? They was a problem yesterday as they didn't talk about moving away from fossil fuels, but in their final draft, they did mention that. And so whatever that's worth, which I think is basically nothing, they gave the people what they wanted. Big deal. All right. Apple is introducing some new securities software where you put in your code, and then if it gets stolen, you can click a button and they can't reuse it, all kinds of bullshit. It's like people stealing your passcode. How's someone going to steal my passcode? I don't get that. I mean, right? I don't know how they would do that. I'm not going to give it to them. So how would they get it? Anyway, that's that. Russia-Ukraine situation, Putin commenting, everyone tired of the beggar from Kiev as he bombs Kiev last night. Zelensky's here asking for dough. And Biden's parading him around. But at the end of the day, it's Washington. Okay. The most ineffective government I've probably seen in my lifetime. The last, 8 years or so. And they mean, he's got to make a deal. You want the money? You got to make a deal. That's basically what it's come down to. This guy's basically irrelevant. We'll see what happens. I have no clue. That's that. Netflix is now going to release what people are watching. And I don't know if that really matters, but they were talking about some innocuous movie that some J-Lo made, some garbage. And they said it was ridiculous. It was like it was a hit show, thing in the movies, and everybody's watching this show. It shows you the power of Netflix, how far and away they are over their competitors in, content and viewership and all this other stuff. Okay. Goldman named their favorite retailer, which is Target. Americans have started taking 401k loans, which is a leading indicator of economic stress. So they're borrowing against their 401k. Xi made a statement. He was supposed to do, they were hoping he would do a stimulus to get the economy going. Instead, he is talking about some industrial policy to obtain economic growth. So people were disappointed with that, and I guess that might have something to do with the continued sell-off in these Chinese stocks. Okay. Sweden's post sharp decrease in home prices. We'll see if that moves through Europe. I think it's worth watching. U.S. Navy just shot down some Houthi drone. Rich Greenfield was on, guys. He's a pretty good analyst talking about para. And I know a lot of you guys have asked para, what's it worth, this, that, and the other thing. Okay. So this is his take, and I think it's a pretty smart outlook. He said if a financial buyer comes in to para, let's call it a venture capital or private equity or one of these jokers with a ton of dough, and they want to buy para, he says it won't make sense at these prices. It'll have to be from much lower levels in the price of the stock to get people to, for an economic buyer to come in and buy this thing. Okay. It's at this price, he thinks it's expensive for those guys. Then he talked about one of the other companies in the group, taking them over. And he said, currently, all these guys want to deleverage, not up leverage. And so there's really no buyer for what they're selling. So he thinks they'll eventually sell it, but not in this time frame when everybody's trying to deleverage. And he says their streaming offering makes no sense. They should probably scale it back greatly and go into a different kind of model. Maybe they broker other people or something like that. Kind of like Sony's doing, he was mentioning. So para at these levels, he made me less bullish. Let's put it that way. And I think he's right. So don't play the takeover in this name, guys. I don't think it makes sense, but I'm basing my opinion on what he said. I had thought that originally. I'm not playing it. I haven't been playing it. And I'm not going to play it, but you do what you want. Okay. Israel-Hamas war, no change there, other than the fact that Biden wants the Palestinian Authority to take control after the war, and Israel is saying no. So that's a problem for Israel for sure. Ukraine aid, we'll see what happens with that, of course. And then these PPI numbers came out. So they were better across the board, albeit slightly. Month over month PPI 0 versus expectations of 1.1% increase. Year over year 0.9 versus 1%, which is a little better. Core, so that's less food and energy. 0 versus expectations of plus 0.2. And year over year was 2. Up 2% versus 2.2. So these numbers have really moved down quite a bit. And maybe Powell says something about cutting rates. Who knows? I have no idea. I doubt it, but we'll see. Okay, so that's the backdrop on the news. Then we got these individual names. Numbers wise, ABM, PLAB, CGNT, and REVG were positive. STTK had positive results on a leukemia drug, top line results. RSLS had positive PR. This 4Cs has a positive drug thing, and Stifel raised their target from 2 to 12. A lot of us are in that one, including myself. Momentum names TLSI and MRDB. GE named top pick at Bank of America. LFMD and MED are partnering to offer transformative weight solutions, and both stocks are up on that. Vertex had a positive phase 2 trial. CRBU had a positive phase 3 trial. Take-Two is being added to the S&P 100. Let me check that. I think it might be the NASDAQ 100. Hold on. I think it's the NASDAQ 100, so check that. And that's really it. On the short side, we had LPTV numbers and Pfizer, which Quinn's told us yesterday. His guy thinks the stock's going to 25, right? He said Pfizer to 25 and Myrna to 70. It looks like that's going to be the case. I mean, at the end of the day, guys, Pfizer is a roll-up, right? They bought an abundance of other companies to create what is currently Pfizer. And obviously, they're not integrating them as well as they could. And you have the COVID drug, which basically very few people are taking, which was really their shot in the arm for sales and whatnot. So these guys are in a bad way. Stock's been acting like shit now for a good amount of time, probably almost a year. Started going down in October of 21. So it's been going down effectively almost 2 years. It had one big bounce, and it's been a straight down affair for a full year, 55 to 28 in a year. For a big company like that, that's just sad. Okay, so that's Pfizer. Tesla is recalling pretty much every car they've ever made, but it's only a software update. So I don't think that's too big a deal. It has to do with their what's it called? Autopilot. Okay, Myrna down on the weakness with Pfizer. LU Love, their RASM numbers came in shitty, down 9 to 10% year over year. This may put a lid on. So I'm watching Love. If it can be up on the day, I'm going to get bullish, stay bullish on airlines. I have no positions now, but that's what I'll be watching as the test. Hertz was downgraded. A bunch of offerings in individual names, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, none of which we trade, so no point going over it. And that's it. So I'm going to pass it back to Spartan, and let's have a good day, guys. Remember, Fed Day, so you want to treat it as 2 days, okay? And that's the story. Spartan, it's all yours.
All righty, thank you, South Beach. Guys, morning, what's up? What's going on? So if you guys are new to chat and have done so, make sure to click on that Discord link that's emailed to you. Pop in a chat. It looks something a little bit like this. A little bit like this. First area to go to when you guys do come in. Click on the disclaimer section, give that a read, as well as go to the new to chat information section, scroll to the very, very top. Top of the section, you get a link to the disclaimer, as well as this bolded risk reward section. Super important to understand both in regards to risk reward, guys, the most important ratio in trading, so definitely worth checking out there. Continue to scroll down. We have a summary of how this chat works, breaks all the channels work on the left-hand side. So you can probably navigate the chat through the day. Important to see in order to be looking. Continue to scroll down. We have the how to read alerts on the options and equity side, breaking down how to read alerts on both sides. Pretty straightforward in that regard. Below that, options rules that we like to use Monday to Thursday in regards to controlling risk, scaling in, scaling out, trading different price contracts, etc., etc. Below that, SPX rules that we use every single day. So definitely worth checking out that as well. All right, let's take a look at continue to scroll down. Any small account less than 10K, breaking down if you have a small account less than 10K, some rules, information, discipline you can put in place, in our opinion, that could potentially help you grow it. How to pick ideas from an options to equity perspective below that. Let's take a look at we got going on today, guys. Pre-market tickers on watch. So if you guys are watching the YouTube stream, I'll just you can pause it and read right there. There's that. There's that. You can see the options. All righty. All right. And then you can obviously see all the charts posted here as well. So a couple of different things. Tesla VRTX, NVIDIA AMD BNTX STTK. So Tesla gapping down in continuation VRTX. Vertex non-opiate drug reduces chronic nerve pain in a mid-stage study. Gapping up on that. NVIDIA gapping down in continuation. AMD gapping up in continuation. BNTX gapping down in sympathy with mRNA. STTK announced initial top-line dose expansion from its ongoing phase 1A/B trial, gapping up on that. So let's take a look at these names from a technical standpoint intraday. All righty, let's move that around. All right, so first two we're looking at today, guys, going to be that Tesla and that VRTX. So Tesla 233.36 pivot to the upside today. This level is able to hold 236.81. That level breaks. We got room towards 240.34. Unable to hold. I'm sorry, going to be leaning bullish neutral on that one. Sorry. VRTX 375.70 pivot. This level holds 381.33 to 387.61. Unable to hold 367.36 to 362.44. Leaning bullish neutral there. Let's take a look at the next two, NVIDIA and AMD. NVIDIA 478.42 pivot to the upside today. Level holds 484.77 to 492.07. Unable to hold 468.06 to 460.23 on the upside or on the downside. Meaning bullish neutral there as well. Let's take a look at AMD. 137.51 pivot. Level holds 139.90 to 143.14. Unable to hold 135.45 to the 131.16 on the downside, leaning bullish neutral there as well. All right, let's take a look at the next two, my friends, the BNTX and then STTK. BNTX 94.45 pivot, level holds 96.77. To the 98.33, unable to hold. We look for pullback on BNTX to that 92.85 spot. Leaning bearish neutral on that. And then STTK 417 pivot, level holds 476 to 534. Unable to hold 374 to 337 on the downside. Leaning bullish neutral. All right, let's take a look at the spine, the fang here, guys. Alrighty, so SPY, let's take a look at this. SPY, 465.45 pivot to the upside today, in my opinion. This level holds from higher into the 466.91 resistance breaks. You see the 482.20 tested. Pivot, unable to hold. From lower into the 464.49 support breaks. We see the 463.54 tested, meaning bullish neutral here. So that's a spot. Let's take a look at the rest of the thing here. Oh, let me just pop all that up. It's like, guys, one sec. Just gonna post this as I do. There you go. All right, let's take a look at the rest of the thing. So Apple 196.12 pivot to the upside today. Level holds 197.45. That level breaks. Get rid of was 198.58. Unable to hold 194.81 to 193.09. Downside leading bullish neutral there. Amazon pivot to the upside today is going to be the 148.60. Level holds 149.71. Unable to hold 147.21 to 145.84. Leaning bullish neutral there as well. Let's take a look at Netflix. Pivot to the upside today is going to be the 465.39. Sorry, 465.29. Level holds 470.22 to 474.37. Unable to hold 458.81 to 452.78. Leaning bullish neutral there. Let's take a look at Meta. Pivot to the upside today is going to be the. Oh, I guess I did it on the daily. Let's go to the daily chart. 335.48 level holds 338.86 to 343.16. Unable to hold 330.62 to 326.13. Leaning bullish neutral there as well. Google pivot upside today 133.03 level holds 134.50 to 135.64. Unable to hold 146 to 130.04. Downside leaning bullish neutral. Take a look at VIX, Qs, and IWM. All right, VIX 1182 pivot downside levels unable to hold 1128, able to hold 1237 to 1281. QQQs pivot 399.02 level holds 401.14 to 402.55, unable to hold 397.10, 350, 395.29 downside leaning bullish neutral. And then last but not least, guys, SPX 460. Wait, kind of just look here. 46.41. Pivot level holds 46.75, 47.09, unable to hold 46.12, 45.80 downside leaning bullish neutral. So we'll see what happens today. Obviously, Fed day, going to be a big one. Interesting. We keep an eye on, basically growth names, tech, and then, we'll see what happens. Of course, if we get continuation, which I do think we will on the market, I'm, looking for 4,700 by the end of the week. We might get that today. That's pretty much it, my friends. Should be an interesting one. I think there's going to be a lot of stuff in play. It's going to be how it typically is on a Fed day, right? So you get your pre-market, not your pre-market, sorry, you get your morning movement, then you get consolidation into the FOMC, and then of course after that, you get your nice afternoon fun. So I think we're gonna have a good day. I don't see why not. We always do well on FOMC days anyway, so the range and volatility is a great thing for us on the SPX side. And yeah, I think we're gonna do quite well. So that's it, my friends. Any questions, feel free to reach out. If you guys came into the YouTube stream, thanks for popping in. And if you guys want to pop into the chat, you can certainly do so. Go to SpartanTrading.com.